In this crazy busy world where we have so many opportunities, it can be hard to know which opportunity needs your top priority. In order to determine that, you first need to take an honest look at yourself. You need to accept and embrace all of you, no matter what challenges you've faced in your life. You may be feeling miserable, anxious, frustrated, discouraged, depressed, and exhausted. And maybe this process of looking within and accepting and embracing all of you sounds hard, uncomfortable, or even scary. And it can be. You can tell people are avoiding this type of inner work when you see how much money is spent on diets, pills, and other quick fixes and distractions. But I promise you, doing the uncomfortable work is worth it. Not only that, you'll feel better, you'll age better, you'll improve your health from the inside out down to the cellular level. You're so worth that investment. The clarity that is waiting for you on the other side of your fear is worth it. I'm Sally Bartlett, also known as the Dean of Varsity Menopause. As a menopause health and fitness coach for over 10 years, working with menopausal women is my absolute passion. As a health coach, when COVID-19 necessitated global sheltering in place, I really saw firsthand how stress levels increased as people pivoted to adjust. I was especially concerned about the stress levels of women who were already in the midst of a hormonal shift before COVID. I wanted to help in some way, so I began posting a series of quick tips to stay sane and boost your immune system. Each tip is a self-care call to action. I like to call it self-care pies. Yes, I said pies because pies stands for the four main areas where daily self-care is called for: physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Practicing small daily self-care pies help you stay focused on a solution during a challenging time. Practicing daily self-care pies brings you clarity on what your next steps need to be. The response to the Quick Tips series was so positive that I've created exercises out of the most well-received posts from the series, and I'm actually going to share one of them with you right now. This exercise expands on the concept that clarity is vital to successful self-care and aging. It gives you gazelle focus on the direction you want to go next. For those of you in the Facebook group, remember when I asked you what you wanted more support on during this webinar? Well, I've heard you, and this exercise will also address your concerns about things like depression, anxiety, unmet life goals, weight, perfectionism, and self-confidence. Why am I so sure that I can help you be successful at self-care and aging? Number one, because I've had the opportunity to work with so many women, but more importantly, because I've lived through it myself. I call the exercise I'm going to share with you the Clarity Roadmap. So you can try it right now with me and see how much clarity you gain just from doing it. First, let me tell you a quick story first. For those of you who know me, you may have heard me say that I've been maintaining a 35-pound weight loss for over 30 years. So basically, from the time I was 10, when my mother put me on a diet because she thought I was too big, I have struggled with weight and body image and have also experienced a lot of what I call disordered eating or volume eating or binge eating, starving, just any kind of disordered eating, short of vomiting. I'm not a vomiter, but I work with many women who are. And just the whole mindset or mentality that goes with thinking, thinking I will be okay when I weigh XYZ, or I won't love myself until I am a certain size jeans, or any of that kind of thinking. I realize now that my mother, bless her heart, she was just passing on to me what had been taught to her when she was my age. And the sad thing is that in all actuality, I really wasn't even overweight. The weight I was at that time when I was 10 was the weight I needed to be in order to, as I approached puberty. So, I was really fine to begin with. And because, whose definition of fine do I need to go by except my own definition? So basically, from the age of 10 to about age 24, I went through every diet you can think of that was popular at the time, which was back in the 70s and 80s, and nothing worked. Basically, my weight went up and down and up and down for those years. I was never happy. I was either eating everything in sight or I was on a very restrictive, unhealthy diet. And then sooner or later, inevitably, that diet didn't work. And I felt so deprived that I made up for it by eating everything that I hadn't eaten in the period before that. So does this cycle sound familiar to you? It was a horrible period of my life. And then I thought, well, when I get through college, then I'll stop doing these strange things with food and eating these huge quantities of food, whole loaves of bread, whole cheesecakes, whole sticks of butter, all kind, you name it. Eating out of the trash, stealing other people's food. It's not a glamorous thing to have an eating disorder. So I even chose my major in college to be psychology because I was hoping to figure out why I was eating like this, and I just could not stop. And it took until I was about 24 for me to realize that I had to accept myself exactly where I was at that point, exactly the way I was. And that was when my journey toward better health began. Everything shifted and I accepted myself at the highest weight I'd ever been in my life. I don't actually know how much weight I had gained. I say 35 pounds, but it was probably more than that. But that was the point at which I stopped getting on the scale to weigh myself. And that was the point at which I stopped letting my picture be taken. So there's really no record of that. But basically, it was the turning point was at my lowest point where I realized I was heavier than I'd ever been. I had no idea how to solve the problem. And I knew I had the rest of my life to in front of me. And I wanted desperately to live a life. I knew some part of my brain knew that I deserved to let myself off the hook, that I deserved to be happy, even though I didn't know how to get there. So all I knew to do after diets, pills, shots, therapy was to love myself where I was right at that exact moment. So and then I've been recovering ever since then. So by the time I was 24, I had tried every diet available at the time. And trust me, I am quite thorough. I was still miserable, discouraged, depressed, exhausted, and even drinking to cope by then. Not to mention, like I said, I weighed even more than I had when the dieting began. And on top of that, I still loathed everything about myself. If I discovered anything during my years of personal diet research, it was what I call my 4 value epiphanies. Number 1, I value sustained daily commitment to living in and loving a healthy sized body determined by me for optimal quality of life and aging physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Number 2, I value living free from food obsession and self-loathing. Number 3, I value dieting will never be the route to get there, ever. Number 4, I value sharing this message with as many women as possible so they too may live a big, amazing life during and after menopause. So the turning point for me that enabled me to adopt a more healthy lifestyle began by 1, taking an honest look at myself, and number 2, not just accepting, but actually embracing all of myself. The Clarity Roadmap is a great way to do that. I've done this type of work for years now, so I've taken the most meaningful components and condensed them into the most concise format so you can maximally benefit in the shortest amount of time and leave here with a personalized map to apply to your life immediately. So I invite you to get out a piece of paper and a pen and let's do this. All right, so you got your pen, your paper. So as I said, This exercise is going to get you focused on the direction you want to point your ship for the rest of your life. I did this long ago when I first began this journey towards better health, and I do it all the time when I need to do it again. And what better time than menopause? Because where am I going? How is the rest of my life going to be? If menopause is the gateway to aging, I really want to make it good. I want to enter that gate prepared and clear on where I want to go. So this clarity roadmap is one of the things I use, one of my tools I use all the time. Your growth potential increases exponentially when you know your destination before you begin. So by mapping out your future, you'll quickly know where you are, where you want to go, and why. And if you know those, the only thing left is the how. For a long time, I just kept thinking, I just kept hoping. I hope this is all going to work out, but I don't really want to put it on paper because I don't know. I don't have the confidence, or I don't have any guidance on how to do that. So that's why I created this form. So I want you to write down. Are you ready? Oh, I forgot to say good morning. Good morning. Sorry, I'm intense, but there's just so much good stuff I want to share with you that I'm going for it. So I want you to, on your piece of paper, I want you to write number 1, and then I want you to write where I am really. So I want you to be honest on this. I'm going to give you a little bit of time to write right now. And so I want you to really be honest. The more honest you can be, the better. You don't have to share this with anyone. Just write where you are. For example, maybe you'll write, I'm exhausted, or I'm unhappy with my body, or I'm not sure where my life is going. Or you may write, my sex life has deteriorated. I don't know. My relationship with my children is strained. COVID uncertainty is really hard for me. You might talk about your income, your fear of financial insecurity, whatever it is, just quick, maybe 1 to 3 things. So I've been talking, so you might have already written some stuff, but I'm going to give you another second. I'm going to write it with you here. Well, I'm going to write another one for myself right now. So, all right. So let's see. And I'm looking in the chat in case anybody has any questions. Good morning, Catherine. So we're going to write just things you're thinking of right now, of where you are right now with regard to the pies, physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. Just where are you? All right. So I think we're ready. Are we ready to move on? I think so. All right. If you feel like you needed more time, you can always go back and add to your list later. But I think as long as you can get like 1 to 3 things on there right now, I think we'll be good. Okay. So write it down. Number 2. Okay. So I want you to write down 1-year goals, but it's not like the kind of goals you're thinking. We're going to word it a specific way. So don't just write down 1-year goals. And then this is going to be what I focus on is where I go. So I want you to look at if you say like, I have no idea what my goals are. I'm just like hoping for the best. And sometimes I get like that, but I want you to, if you don't have any ideas of specific goals, that they don't just come to mind right away, look back at your number 1. Where am I really? So for example, if I had written, I'm exhausted, then for number 2, you're going to write your goals in the form of a positive statement 1 year from now, as if they've already happened and they are a fact. In other words, if I had written, I'm exhausted in number 1, for number 2, I'm going to write, I feel well rested and energized daily. If I had written that I was unhappy with my body, and even if you don't know how to get here, just write it down. This is like a positive, like a manifesting type of an activity. So I could, if I had said I'm unhappy with my body, which I'm not, by the way, but I would write here, I love and embrace the body I'm in. Even if you don't believe it, I don't even care. Just write it anyways. This is what I did when I did this in my 20s, but I had to do it again when I was aging, and renew your commitment to yourself. So, all right. So are you getting the idea? Hi, Julia. If you have any questions on this one, just ask. So Julia and anyone who's just joining us, we've already done on the clarity roadmap. We've done number 1 and we're working on number 2 and people are writing. But for number 1 to review, number 1 is where am I really right now with respect to my self-care pies? So where am I physically? What's my body image? Where am I intellectually? Do I feel like my brain is going? Just, write those things down. Where am I emotionally? I have a lot of feelings. I'm not quite sure what to do with them or whatever. And then spiritually, whatever that means to you, how do you daily renew your sense of lovability? That's what we're going to talk about. Everyone's spirituality is a little bit different, but in a global sense, let's talk about it in that form. Like, how do I love myself and love others? That would be my spirituality. So number 2, we're working on 1-year goals written as if we've jumped ahead in time 1 year. And we're talking about the things we wrote in number 1. We're saying them as positive statements as if they've already happened. My relationship with my children is just where it needs to be, or it may be a concrete thing like a financial issue. You may say, I am completely self-sufficient. I have 6 months of expenses in the bank as an emergency fund, anything where you want to be, even if you don't know how to get there. Okay, so any questions on that one? All right, I think we're good. We're going to move on. Number 3, why these goals are important to you. So you look at what you wrote in 1 and 2, and then you're going to write, why are those things important to you from your heart? So in other words, if I had said, so I'm just kind of giving you little bits and pieces of possible answers you had. So maybe I had said in my goals, I am self-supporting right now. And then why that goal is important to me, I would write in number 3, because I want to have money for retirement, or because my purpose will be fulfilled. I'll feel like I have this, I always have felt like I have this purpose and I want to make sure that I don't miss it, that I'm fulfilling it. Another thing I had written, why my goals are important to me, it's because I want to stop playing small. It doesn't serve me or the world. Like, I don't feel like I'm here on the planet to play small. There's something I'm supposed to be doing and I want to tap into it. So this exercise helps me with that. Another thing is that my parents constantly lived in fear of financial insecurity. So I'm probably talking too much and you can't concentrate. So go ahead and I'll give you a sec. I'll check the chat. All right, so we're good there. I'm going to move on. I'm going to assume you're good because you guys are awesome. And then number 4 is the capabilities needed to achieve these goals. So maybe I'm going too fast. Maybe it's the iced tea this morning. Not sure. Maybe I'm just super excited to be here with you. But so I'm going to take a breath, have some water. And I'll give you one example here of what I put as capabilities needed to achieve the goals that I have written is I needed to get help to stop believing the lies my head was telling me that was keeping me stuck in fear and keeping me paralyzed and not able to find my passion. So, excuse me. So either you're like, oh, and you're writing furiously right now, and that's great, and you're motivated right away by this, but it might also be the case for you that this is kind of stumping you, and it's a little bit hard to just go like, hey, how about writing down some things you want to do? Like that can be a little overwhelming. And so if that's the case for you, I just want you to know that I can help you with clarifying. So, so is everybody good on their 4 areas of the clarity roadmap? Okay, I'm going to assume yes. If there's any other questions, all right, you guys are looking good. Okay, so you can use this tool over and over anytime you need clarity on any specific area of your life, or just in general about the direction your life is taking right now. The thing about this form is this tool is it kind of got me going, like, okay, now I know this is where I want to go, and this is why it's so important to me. And now I know what action steps I actually need to take to get there. And because in some cases I kept thinking, I have to be able to do this all by myself. I don't want help, and nobody understands where I am, and I just want to do it myself. And eventually what I realized is I did need help. And once I kind of put that out in the universe, help came, and in a variety of different ways. So just remember, this is a journey and not a race. Change doesn't happen overnight. Just be patient with yourself. If you found this tool is helpful and you feel that you're ready to learn more about yourself and gain back the clarity and confidence that you had before menopause, or if you struggled with this your entire life, I've created a virtual retreat for women where I will help you clarify what you want in the second chapter of your big, amazing life. So this retreat, I've been working on it. It will provide the ideal climate to develop and deepen your sense of self-love and embrace aging confidently, gracefully, and contentedly in order to reach your highest potential. During and after the retreat, you'll find the ability to grieve losses that accompany hormonal transition and get on with your big, amazing life, identify and process feelings, therefore becoming emotionally literate, break free from long-standing negative self-talk barriers and the diet culture, become willing to smash limiting beliefs, improve your body image, self-esteem, and self-acceptance even after the advent of hormonal shift, develop clarity, sense of value, and understanding of who you are and why you're here, be open-minded about reaching goals previously unattainable, reignite a passion for your big life with unlimited potential, increase your self-compassion, and find new age-appropriate parameters around exercise. Here's the best part. Along with learning how to love yourself, the retreat also offers a supportive opportunity for like-minded, authentic women to connect with each other as they dive a little deeper physically, intellectually, emotionally, and spiritually. I found that connecting is the secret sauce that compounds any inner work I do and makes it even more powerful. The collective energy of supportive women is indescribably powerful and wonderful. So here's the breakdown of the 2-day virtual retreat. On day 1, meet with 9 other varsity team members to get to know your community. Then you're going to get clear on your future and quickly know where you are, where you want to go, why you want to go, and how you're going to get there. We'll dive deep to find out your purpose in life, or your why, and discover your unique skills and techniques for how to reverse negative self-talk barriers. You'll also learn new skills and techniques for how to amplify your life's purpose, learn a powerful technique to tap into your intuition for self-compassion, and learn a new self-calming technique to help regulate your nervous system. So then on day 2, you're going to discover how to conquer your biggest fear, transform your thinking, and normalize life's inevitable obstacles so they no longer derail you. You'll acquire practical and action-oriented solutions to tackle your unique challenges and learn techniques to get in touch with your feelings and increase your emotional literacy. And then you'll discover your passion or passions and the actions needed to start working on your passion projects right away. Look, this retreat isn't for everyone, but it is for you. If you're in some phase of menopause and want to learn to age confidently and gracefully in a supportive and non-judgmental online community, if you're willing to be uncomfortably authentic in exchange for personal growth you've always dreamed of but have never been able to achieve, If you're open-minded and willing to learn new skills that can enable you to reach your full potential, if you're ready to make a change and willing to radically self-accept despite your own head or what others have told you, if you just know you have a special purpose but can never quite access it because you're repeatedly paralyzed by fear and negative self-talk, or if you want to reignite your passion for living. However, this retreat isn't for you if you're not willing to put in the work, if you avoid feeling uncomfortable at all costs, and you believe life should be puppies and unicorns for days, if you expect a quick fix overnight and still think dieting and food restriction are the answer to your eternal happiness, if you're not willing to invest in yourself, if you don't want to change, or if you feel like your life is just fine the way it is, then this retreat wouldn't be for you. But if it is for you, you are why I created the Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat series. So you can finally get from where you are to where you know you're meant to be, while completely loving yourself every step of the way. We only get one life. Don't you want to make the absolute most of it? Believe it or not, the best is yet to come. Now, for those of you who know me, you know how much I love to give out my verbal and emoji awards. So first, let me give you an award for joining me today. And if you'd like any other award today, such as one for taking a shower or grocery shopping during a pandemic, let me know. Award for that too. And since you've watched all the way to here, I also want to give you a thank you award. I'm giving you a special for the next 24 hours. But before we go over the thank you award, first let me tell you what's already included if you sign up for the retreat in the next 24 hours. You'll get the opportunity to come out of isolation and be in the company of like-minded, positive, varsity caliber women. Here you'll receive and participate in powerful group coaching sessions where the power of the group will continue to uplift you and encourage you for life. And the recordings of the actual live retreat sessions, so you can go back and do the retreat again whenever you need a tune-up. Plus, when you register within the next 24 hours, I will also add free bonuses, including a digital copy of my book, Damn It, It Is Menopause, a women's guide to achieving clarity and confidence beyond her wildest dreams. Absolutely free, due out this winter. This book of meditations and calls to action is a lighthearted yet solutions-oriented spiritual resource, so you don't have to feel alone like I did. It will open the door for women to communicate and comfort each other more during what could be a potentially trying time. Other bonuses you'll receive include VIP status, including 2 30-minute private coaching sessions with me. The private coaching sessions will be used for action step accountability and fine-tuning where needed to get you where you want to be. And you'll also receive a voucher toward Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat Level 2, where we build on the foundation developed in Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat Level 1 and dive deeper into written communication techniques that further enhance your relationship with yourself and others. Okay, now's the time for your other award. If you register within the next 24 hours, my thank you award for you will be a huge discount off the price of the retreat. So click the link in the comment box or in the description box to reserve your spot right now for the Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat. The retreat takes place on Friday and Saturday, September 18th and 19th. It will be for 6 hours each day, starting at 10 a.m. Pacific. Remember, there are only 10 seats available. I'm keeping the group intimate so that I can work closely with everyone to foster the best result for each person's unique solutions. Don't wait. Since I'm keeping the group small for accelerated growth, it will fill up fast. Listen, you were created intentionally for a purpose. Stop squelching that small voice in you that keeps calling out. You're not imagining it. She's your intuition. The world desperately needs you to utilize those gifts of yours. You deserve to age gracefully and joyfully. If you think now's not the time, when will the time be? Don't waste another second being unkind to yourself or doubting yourself or playing small. You're being prepared to receive all the love and joy your heart can hold. Take the time to invest in yourself. Yes, it is hard work, and you're worth it. If you know you're ready, now's the time to join the Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat so you have the capabilities to go where you're meant to go and be whom you're meant to be. Commit to take this journey with me and gain the clarity and courage finally to be able to do just that. If you're still wondering what result you'll get from this retreat, here's a story about a past attendee's what a past attendee's life looked like before the retreat. She had tried unsuccessfully for 4 months to begin teaching an online course during the pandemic. Her repeated experience with procrastination compounded the amount of negative self-talk around her not having accomplished this perceived personal goal. Then she attended the retreat and got some huge insights, which helped clarify what was most important to her. During her post-retreat private coaching sessions with me, she was able to fine-tune and clarify that launching an online course was actually not her top priority. In fact, her top priority was being in a relationship. During the retreat, she had listed being in a relationship as one of her desires, but she hadn't actually realized that it was her top priority. However, 2 weeks after the retreat, she met someone and realized that. It's not surprising that putting her desires and aspirations on paper and sharing them with the group resulted in increased clarity and the manifestation of the things she desired most. All it took was a little faith in herself and the willingness to pivot to a new way of thinking. Here's what she said. The Varsity Pivot Clarity Retreat helped me to reconnect with my most important values and dreams, to choose action steps and micro steps that I will take to make positive changes. I learned that self-care is valid, necessary, and extremely beneficial when included into each day's efforts and projects. Moving forward, I have an action plan which averts overwhelm, keeping me clearly focused on each next step towards my dream. The methods in the retreat infuse self-love and self-exploration and offer tools which are still helping me clearly identify and organize my priorities on an ongoing basis. I am honored to witness things like this happening all the time. If this sounds like something you've been wanting to achieve, this retreat is the place to do it. I can't wait to meet you and help you get there. Thank you for your time and for listening until the very end. The fact that you're still here shows that you have perseverance and believe in yourself. Great things are coming for you. Remember to breathe and to stand tall and proud, for you've come a long way. You've got so much more living to do. The best is yet to come. If you have any questions, please let me know in the chat right now. I'm checking out the chat. Maybe right now you're saying, oh, I don't have the money right now. Don't worry. I have a 30-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. If you're still worried, remember about the 24-hour special if you purchase within the next 24-hour time period. Listen, the price may seem high at the moment, but consider where you'll be 6 months from now if you don't make a change. Sitting in confusion, frustration, without conviction where your life is heading, wondering if you've done everything you were meant to do in your life, and if you'll ever accomplish your unmet life goals, yet with fear still keeping you from ever knowing. Make this investment in yourself because you're meant to live a life where fear and anxiety don't stop you from achieving the desires of your heart. Or maybe you're saying, I don't have the time. There's probably pain in the fact that you've already waited this long to make a change in yourself. I know there was for me. Here's where you could be 6 months from now. So you could stay where you are, exhausted, fear-filled, depressed, anxious, or you could be living out your desires and doing what you love for the rest of your life. This retreat will help you discover and restructure your true priorities to have more time to focus on what is actually important to you. Say you're working 2 jobs right now and think you can't make a commitment to applying the tools you'll be taught. If you really want to make lasting changes for the better, you could always set your alarm for 30 minutes earlier each day and allocate that time to focus on yourself. Remember, there's no magic wand. You could call this your golden time where no one can touch it. Or think of all the time you spend scrolling on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and consider a swap out to spend that time or even half of it on yourself instead. Or maybe you're thinking, I'm not ready, or I don't think I'll have the same results as other people. You'll never feel 100% ready, but that's just your perfectionism and fear talking. Just imagine what it would feel like if you learned to quiet your anxiety, address your depression, and boost self-confidence, and got to a place where you felt free and comfortable in your skin. That's awesome, right? To get there, you just have to start. There's no better time than now, and it all starts with training your mindset. That's exactly what I'll show you how to do. Or maybe you're thinking, I have to talk to my husband or my significant other. Be sure to tell them that this will help you take responsibility for your own happiness and therefore indirectly enhance the relationship the two of you have together. I actually have a whole script for that will help you navigate. I'll leave it in the description box. If you have any questions later, you can email me at ceosallybartlett@sallybartlett.com, or you can call or text me 949-285-4212. Don't forget that my thank you award special ends in 24 hours. That's all for now. Be sure to contact me if you have any questions.